Welcome to the Get Off That podcast. My name's Emily.
My name is Andrew.
And Merry Christmas and or Christmas Eve to you all.
Indeed. It's the most wonderful time.
Of the year. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I think I just got the most singing you're going to get out of me. That's only because it's early. I'm drinking coffee, and I can at least blame being pitchy on trying to hit low notes.
Yeah, I am also drinking coffee out of my Rude Bird mug that we talked about with Sadie Dupuis in the Joys of the Studio episode. But the coffee I'm drinking, I picked up at a place I played in Whidbey Island last Saturday. And
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
if you dear listeners are thinking, "Oh, she played a coffee shop," I'll say no. You'd be wrong. I played a gas station.
Oh,
Well, Whidbey
that's actually
Islands
pretty cool.
is kind of cool. Yeah, it was kind of cool little setup. It's like a gas station, convenience store during the day, and then they also have actually one of the better burgers I've had in Seattle area. Um, though, and like beer on tap, and this little outdoor area. Well, it's like it's like a patio covered area, and there's an outdoor area that wasn't open, obviously, and they had a little heater and no monitor. But I picked up a bag of coffee there. That was like their special. It was like the Bailey's Corner Store roast.
That sounds nice.
It is. It's actually pretty damn good.
Did you guys do a cover of Audioslave's Gasoline?
No, we don't have any covers in our arsenal right now, and if we did, I think it would be Drive by the Cars.
You don't want to do an Audioslave cover for your pop band?
You know, I really only have the vaguest understanding of what Audioslave was. I think it was Chris Cornell, but I can't remember if it was Chris Cornell or Scott Weiland. I did get
Are
those two
you serious?
supergroups. I get those two supergroups confused as hell. What? What? They were both in supergroups. It was a singer of one band and the members of another band. They called it a supergroup, and they had like a hit song each, and it was the same time. What? Fight me.
I mean, I'm not going to fight you. I'm just going to relish the opportunity to shame you and then choose not to. And just kind
Why?
of sit, I'm just going to sit here on my high horse
It's
because that somehow makes me more noble and petty all at the same time.
that makes you very petty, man. Those were not like important rock bands.
I beg to differ.
The bands they were in originally were more important. Okay, was Audioslave Chris Cornell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like Chris Cornell. What was the backing band?
Let's see here. It was
Was it
the
Rage Against the Machine?
essentially, yeah.
See, I had the general idea right.
Tom Morello was the guitar player and did some super awesome stuff.
Okay.
Like the helicopter sound he does with his guitar on the intro to Cochise or however the heck you pronounce that.
Are you describing a fast, choppy tremolo?
No, so he does this weird thing. So he put a kill switch on his guitar and he like holds his whammy down and kind of just like rakes his strings, but also with his other hand, he's like hitting the kill switch on and off, like flicking it back and forth.
So
This is just a little two-way switch.
essentially a hard, fast tremolo.
But while also like super detuned on his strings and just raking them with his right hand. His arms are crossed while he's doing it, and it like who would think of that? And I'm not saying Tom Morello is the greatest guitar player of all time by any stretch of the imagination, but I just dig the creativity of doing what the guitar was never intended to do and getting that awesome sound. And then you get this awesome like helicopter sound to the intro, and it starts building up the drums, dun dun, and then it just drops into that main riff, and that is that's an incredible riff. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, so this gas station didn't have any monitors, and during sound, we did a little quick sound check with my direct in amp, and I was like, "This is fine." And then we get to playing, and I'm like, "This is not fine." And at one point, I think somehow my sound got bumped off during a song, and it kind of threw me off for the rest of the song. And
Mm,
the next day, I went to Trading Musician and bought the cheapest cab speaker combo they had. Played that on a gig on Monday. Realized that the speaker in it is really bad, uh, and just all mids, just really, truly, just all mids. So I emailed Tim from Milkman Sound. He gave me a speaker recommendation, and bless his heart, in like not the Southern way, but like the actual what a sweet guy. He I asked him like, hey, this is a speaker that you sell. Is that what would you would recommend for it? And he's like, no, get this other speaker. It's $110 versus the 180 for his because his was meant for more high powered things. So he was just like really honest instead of trying to upsell me. And he's like,
right. Which is always
always
appreciated.
so appreciated. So I have that speaker coming in. It's a Jupiter. Jupiter's the brand. It's 8 ohms. I forget which wattage I got. Either 25 or 50, probably. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. The thing about the Milkman Direct In is that when I'm playing a place like Barboza, which we did on Wednesday, opening for Yacht, it was fan. Actually, it was Tuesday, fantastic. It's just so great. Like I know the sound guy has control to do all the things, and I have to worry about my monitors. I don't have to worry about like touching anything because I know that he's going to be out. Sam's going to be out there doing the sound and doing a great job. And I just need a solution for those DIY gigs, for those art gallery gigs that maybe don't have the best monitoring situation. And just like,
Right.
especially if we go when we go on tour, just keep it in the car. And if I need it, I need it. If I don't, then I don't. And if something happens to it, I don't
Exactly.
care. And so I'm going to customize a little bit. I'm going to get some Pendleton wool scraps and I'm going to do the grill in the Pendleton wool cover. And I think we're going to get
Nice.
some vinyl heat transfers and like do some cutouts because what I want to do is Sunday Crush, our unofficial mascot, is a character called Lip Man. It's just a pair of lips with eyes, and I'd like to do some paste some Lip Man on the side of this here cab. Yeah, that's all that's up with me.
Well, sounds like you've been busy.
Oh boy, have I been busy. I've been busy.
I've also been busy, but in different ways. Had some my aunt came to visit and was super rad, and I guess my what's new isn't gear, it's a bottle of scotch that I got for as an early Christmas present.
Wasn't that nice?
It was. It's the Ron Swanson scotch. Nick Offerman teamed up with Lagavulin and did a signature scotch. So I mean, screw signature pedals. Signature scotch should be more of a thing. I think it's rad.
Oh.
It's an 11-year, but it's Lagavulin, so you still get. I mean, they just are the king of peated scotch, and my goodness, is it delightful. So even
Man,
for a younger scotch, it's got a really intense flavor. It's rather well balanced. I'm really pleased with it.
yeah, scotch is one of those things that I just don't like it.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Rick likes it a lot. My mom enjoys it, but I'm like, I'd rather I'd rather sip gins. But so I don't think Rick is going to listen to this. Can I tell you what I got Rick for Christmas?
Sure.
When we were in Whidbey Island, we went to some distilleries and some wineries because there's and some thrift stores because there is nothing else to do there. We went to one of these distilleries and they had this very 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 good whiskey and a coffee whiskey liqueur.
Ooh.
And I got him a bottle of each, and the coffee liqueur is not supposed to be mixed with anything. Actually, it's a mixer. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. So the coffee liqueur comes with a bunch of recipes
Hmm.
um, that you can make with it, but like just on its own, it was pretty delightful. It was made from cold brew on the island, so that was pretty neat.
Oh, so like it's like kind of like a fancy cold brew Kahlua.
Exactly, that's exactly it.
Ooh.
And then the whiskey kit comes in a very small bottle because it was quite expensive. But they're like, we're not going to give you a recipe card with this because you don't mix this with anything.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Sounds perfect, easy. So
You know,
that's
that is the
what I
nice
got.
thing about like nice whiskeys is it's impossible to screw it because you just don't like at most a couple drops of water.
At most, or like 1 cup of ice cube and let it melt for a smidge.
You are welcome to do so.
I will continue to do so. My grandmother's drink of choice was always whiskey and water. Canadian whiskey and water.
See, people like some people don't understand like how important it is to have a couple of drops of water because some of the flavors in whiskey, they're not soluble in alcohol, and so like literally just a couple of drops of water and actually pulls a lot of those flavors out. So
A drink I really like is whiskey soda.
I could see that. I mean, I had a scotch and soda last night with a lesser scotch.
Yeah, I mean not with my Joseph Magnus and not with whatever I just bought, which
Yeah, I
name
wouldn't ever
escapes
do
me.
that to a nice scotch, but I've got like a $30 bottle of scotch that was finished in rum casks. That was it sweetens up pretty nicely and just as a scotch and soda.
Yeah.
I digress.
It was not a whiskey podcast.
It is not a whiskey podcast, nor is it a beer podcast or a cocktail
It's
podcast,
kind of a cat.
but it is a
It's
cat's
gotta say
pod.
it's
Yeah,
kind of a
it's
cat
a.
podcast.
There's no getting around that.
Our friend Steve Selvage from the Hold Steady was just on a podcast. I think it's just the podcast just called "Let Me Talk About My Cat." They're like 30 minutes, so he talks about his cat Kumar, and it was really funny listening to Steve's a great talker. First of all, a good storyteller, and
Oh,
just to hear
absolutely.
him talk about like how he first got like his sister brought home a cat. They thought it was a boy. She's like, "I'll take care of it," and it turned out to be a girl. And she didn't really take care of it, and the girl kept getting pregnant. So there were always one kittens and also two tomcats prowling around the backyard. And that Steve still has some
Ooh.
scars from getting attacked by a bunch of tomcats once he was little, but yet he still loves cats.
No, I mean I was attacked by dogs as a kid, and I still also tend to like dogs as well.
Yeah, but Steve always has a cat. He said that he wants to take a touring van and have one of the bunks be a litter bunk. He's like, I promise I'll clean it, guys.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know if I could do that on
That'd be
tour.
so gross. But like at the same
Don't
time,
get me wrong, I like cats, but like the number one downside to cats is the litter box.
oh man, that's not even my number one downside. Like I love my cat so much, but the fact of the matter is I'm highly allergic to her. But I love her so much.
I could see that as being slightly problematic,
It's
but
fine. Last night I had insomnia and I came downstairs to edit some videos and she got her little cozy butt out of bed and came down and hung out with me and it was really sweet to have a little bit of company.
that's pretty
Mhm.
sweet. Well, all right. Well, why don't we have a word or two about our sponsors for this episode? Merry Christmas to
Merry
us.
Christmas. Do you want to talk about the first one on the list there?
I'm going to talk about that one
Yes.
absolutely. And for those of you wondering which one is that one, we all know that one is Boss. Because who doesn't want to be like a boss? I mean, let's be honest. So, Boss is Boss Roland. They are a sponsor of the show, and I think they're pretty stinking rad. They've been shaking some things up lately. Not only do they have an incredible history in the pedal industry and have influenced so much of what we know, and it is really, I mean, we owe so much to Boss just historically as an industry.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they were the first people to do a pedal board tuner until I listened to an older episode of the Gear Slam from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, we owe so much to Boss at this point, but they've been shaking some things up lately. They've released a whole bunch of new stuff in their new line. Their 200 series is just absolutely brilliant. I need to get my hands on more of it. You just did the 200 series looper, right?
Yeah, the RC10R. I just released a video tutorial slash demo of that one. That one's a little bit different. If you watch a lot of our demos or any of them, you realize that unless I'm demoing a guitar, I don't tend to talk at all in the demos. It's kind of hard to do with a looper. So I love this looper. It's also a rhythm station with uh, I have not looked or counted, but a lot of different drum styles, beats, kit kind of sounds, a lot of tempos, which is really cool. I sent my bassist some of the wilder tempos because they are always like let's do a song in 7/4 or something like that. Um, so I run through three ways to use it. I have run through how to use it as just as a drum machine pedal. With
Mhm.
because you can do two parts. So each like drum setting has a part one and a part two. And I assume part two would be more like akin to chorus verse kind of thing. Um,
Right.
so I walk through like how to do that, how to get the timing right, how to pick your settings, how to test them out. And then I show how to use it with the actual looper. So you have to you well, I shouldn't say you have to. You can sync the drum sound and the drum side and the looper side so that they
Uh-huh.
kind of click together. And then if you change the tempo later, if you're like, oh, that was too fast, it changes the tempo of everything without essentially without changing the pitch, which is really neat. So then I show how to use that as a looper without going into the part two. And then I show how to do it with the part two, which I think takes a lot of practice. Like for all the loopers I've ever had, this definitely required the most practice, but I would say it probably also has the most reward.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's our sponsorship from Boss. Go watch the demo video. Go buy yourself a Boss unit. Just do it. I don't know what you're waiting for.
I don't
Emily, you
either.
want to talk about our other sponsor?
Yeah, so I would like to shout out Dwarfcraft Devices as a sponsor of this week's
Yep.
episode. They just sent me a little care package of pedals to demos. They sent me the Ghost Fax Phaser, which is just an absolute beast of a phaser. I cannot wait to try this out, not just on guitar, but with the RC10R, because I've heard it's just really nuts through with a drum machine through it. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, you know what? Let me Google Ghost Fax really quickly because there's a lot going on. Yeah.
There's something really special about running a drum track
Hmm.
through like a slow modulation. Like I love running drums through like
Yeah.
a flange, just like an infinitely ascending flange. I mean, that's just so fun.
So the Ghost Fax is officially described as a phase computer. It has four modes of operation: standard, manual, envelope up, and envelope down. Uh, 32 different poles, which controls the all pass filters used for the phase effect. Uh, yeah, and then there's the feedback knob. There's just a lot going on with this pedal. Um, I cannot wait to dig into it. I just got it in yesterday. Kind of incredible. Um, they also sent me the Tree Verb that they released last year at Winter Nam, and it's a reverb that has three different algorithms, hall, pitch, and modulated. And it's a standard size enclosure, and it just looks really cool. And I've been kind of wanting to get my hands on one for a while. Um, so yeah, I think later today I'm going to plug this in and play some Christmas music.
Well,
Yeah.
rad.
We'll talk about Christmas music later, but uh and then they also sent me their pink grazer. But Andrew, I already have a grazer. What am I going to do with a second grazer?
So that means I get it, right?
I think
And it was at this moment that Andrew realized all of his hopes and dreams were dashed.
no, I think that we might have a wee little contest, but we'll have to see. I'm going to talk to Louise and see.
A contest?
Contest?
Is this an early Christmas present?
Well, no, because it'll happen in a few weeks. But
Can we rig the contest in a way where I automatically win, but also in a way where it doesn't look like it was rigged?
void where prohibited.
Well, I tried. That's what counts, right?
Mm, yeah.
And for trying, I get a participation trophy, and in this case, the participation trophy is the pink razor, right?
I will say that the grazer I have, my black one, I paid full price for. So, not really in a rush to give you a freebie, buddy.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna have to do something pretty
Hmm.
special with that, and I can't wait to get it in the hands of someone who's going to love and appreciate the heck out of
You
it.
know who else loves the grazers? And Sulakowski.
For
Oh my
show.
god. I can't put the I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna demo that on guitar, and I also kind of want to demo it on my pedal steel. Ooh,
Ooh,
it
that
will
could
be
be
fun.
fun.
It will be fun.
I just want to run drum tracks through it, but
Ooh, I'll do that too. Shoot. I caught myself there.
alrighty. Well, we're gonna keep this episode a little snappy, given that it's Christmas Eve for the day this comes out, and we don't want to have everybody spending too much time away from family. Uh,
Nah.
but why don't we hop into our episode and talk about that for a few minutes, and let's see where we go with
Cool.
this.
So I know we'd already kind of gotten into it. I mentioned that I'm gonna play some Christmas music later. I love playing Christmas music on the guitar. Oh my god, and the sadder the Christmas song, the better. Last night I had insomnia and I learned the song, the theme song from the Home Alone, and that's a very sad song. But I love Christmas music. It's especially when it gets so jazzy to play. Oh, I love it so much. Don't you love it?
E- I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. I just playing it is a completely different story, mostly because it exposes that I'm a mediocre musician. I'm like, you want how many chord changes?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of chord changes in these songs.
But I do have to disagree. I really like really happy, upbeat Christmas music, and when it hits the minor key, I'm like, well, now I am officially depressed, and it doesn't help that like playing music in a minor key at this time of year where there's like no sunshine, while oddly appropriate, I need balance in my life. I need happy, upbeat Christmas music to bring balance to the force.
Dude, I love sad Christmas songs because holidays aren't holidays are hard for a lot of people, and I feel like I like those songs that uh mirror how I'm feeling a little bit. Like, let's be real, "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" is a damn sad song when you think about it. Like, God, like, ugh, it's just sounds sad, and then the lyrics are they seem upbeat and cheery, but it also has that hanging thread of mortality right on top of it. I think it's a perfect song.
See, I don't find that to be sad, but
Oh god, in the it reminds everyone that they're gonna die in it.
good. That's not sad, that's just normal.
I mean, it's just not. It's maybe not like upbeat. I when I auditioned for Berklee College of Music, I auditioned with a solo jazz fingerstyle arrangement of Christmas Time Is Here.
You know, I do have to take back what I said about not wanting to play Christmas music. Not entirely take back, but I wanna clarify. I've always enjoyed playing drums for Christmas music because there's just a really nice vibe for it. So guitar is one thing. I have a really hard time keeping up to do any of the arrangements justice, but drums is really fun. I do like playing in 3/4, which a lot of Christmas music is written in. Um,
I have a question for you about percussion, auxiliary
yeah,
percussion.
what's up?
The jingle bell thing.
Yes.
Do you think the proper way is to shake it or to hold it steady and hit the top?
Hold it steady and hit the top. That's not even a question.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
You hold it
thank
so you
you.
got it's the long stick with the jingle bells on the side, and you hold it facing downward, so you like hanging in your
Yes,
hand,
that's
and
important.
then with your left hand you grip the handle, and it's hanging out the bottom of your hand, and on your right hand
Yeah,
you kind of cup your hand and go and just kind of cup
yeah.
just pat it like that. You don't have to even hardly hit it.
It's not a tambourine, friends.
It's not. Who in the what kind of monster is hitting it or like
I
shaking it?
see this I see this all the time. I see this all the time, and it drives me nuts. But I also need to make an addendum of what I just said about loving Christmas music because, I really wanna put a sign on my door 'cause I have a feeling this is gonna happen today that says "No carolers," because I realized a few years ago when I was at the Zoo Lights thing, and there were a lot of like Dickens era carolers there, that they are my clowns. I am a little terrified of them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I do not like Dickens era carolers or any carolers. They freak me out so bad. I
What
don't know
what about
why.
people named Carol?
I don't know any carols. except Carole King, and I love her to death.
Okay, that's fair. Well, before I get too far away from the underlying truth that I am also a percussionist at heart, that's run throughout the podcast, I do have a fun story of one time I was playing a Christmas concert as percussion. I was playing the blocks, and it's well, what's the name of the song? It's like giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go, a sleigh
It's
ride,
literally it's
sleigh ride.
literally called Sleigh Ride. Ding ling
Yes,
ling 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 ding
yeah.
ding.
So there's depending on how it's arranged, there's like that little bit on the blocks, like just kind of like hitting in the background of the song with the percussion. So I remember I was playing this in an orchestra, and I was getting really into it because it's just a fun song. It was one of those like normally orchestras look pretty stoic, but we were all having a good time. And I'm playing the mallets on these pretty sing hard, and the end of one of the mallets flung off.
Oh Lord.
And percussion sits at the back of the orchestra. It flung off and went right into the back of the head of the alto sax player. And it hit
He
him in a
had it
way that
coming.
it hit the poor guy in a way that it forced his face into his sax, and it made like this duck quack sound,
Oh,
just
buddy.
like super loud. And then everybody's like, and then he's surrounded by wind instruments who are all trying not to laugh while also playing. Like it nearly derailed the song. And I'm
Oof,
sitting here
yeah.
like, I've only got one mallet, and that's why you practice your rudiments so you can play all of your parts with one hand.
Oof. That reminds me of our show at the grocery store. Not only could I not hear myself, and not only did my volume get cut, I, in the last two songs, the drummer, his kick pedal broke.
Oh no. I've had that happen to me before. That's always a hoot.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I made up for all those problems Tuesday opening for Yacht, and that's really all that mattered to me. That Yacht saw us, and we saw Yacht, and we all mutually liked each other. Also, okay, I gotta derail. So I was in the green room at Barboza, and I sent this around to our patrons chat and to Andrew because Andrew's always interested in green rooms. Uh, it was God. Everyone else knew exactly who this like hip hop artist was right above us, and I just forgot his name. But he was apparently just bringing down the house, and when I say that, I mean our green room was underneath his stage and like audience area because there's the upper floor and the lower floor venues. And you can't hear anything really, but the floor was bouncing up and down. Like and as a result our ceiling was bouncing up and down. And we're all looking up, and Claire from Yacht says, "This seems genuinely unsafe." And I was like, I'm going to go stand in the doorway. That seems like the safest
I
place to
only
stand."
half watched that video, and I was really confused as to what was going on because all I saw was a video facing up at his ceiling, and I just heard eater, eater, eater. And
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks of college of like living in like a dorm building where you hear the dorm above you. Clearly someone is
Having
having
sex.
consensual
Hopefully.
relationships.
Let's
And I
hopefully.
just watched the video like, why is someone like, is there an apartment above the green room? I was so
Well, during
confused.
soundcheck, we kind of thought that might have been the like we're like, is that like a weird room above us? And then we realized it was the stage area. And
Well, so that
I was
so
worried
you
about.
sent the first video, and I'm like, this is really strange. And then you sent like several videos like after that. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of impressed. Like that was going on for a while, but I guess that's not the case.
No, that was
That
an
explains a few
audience
things.
that it was only a 45-minute set, thank God. And the people at Numis were like, "That's pretty normal." But they were still checking it out, just like they had us close our green room door to see how the air was moving because I guess that was important. I guess that they designed it so that there would be give, but uh it was they maybe should have warned us because we were very concerned. I was more concerned that a water pipe would break, personally. Like I thought that was the most likely scenario. But yeah, there was like a whole like right outside the green room you could see a wall. I think there was a hole at least a half an inch going back and forth, like very visible, and you could feel the air coming out, and it was pretty scary.
Oh, that's just the termites. Don't mind them.
God, them termites are banging.
Oh man. And you just went and said the R word, the rain
What did I
word,
say?
which reminds me, I've got a
When
rain,
did I say
and it's
rain?
been. Oh no, you didn't say rain. You said like a water pipe. It just
Okay.
reminded me of rain and like flooding. No, I'm just a little upset. My Fox Cairo work area is like kind of flooded out right
Ah,
now.
yeah, this is a lot of rain for Seattle, and people will not understand it.
It's a lot
People don't
of
understand
rain.
Seattle doesn't used to downpours. We have like a smear that happens like constantly in the winter.
Well, we got like 3 inches in
At
24
least it
hours.
was insane.
It's like even my workplace, which is like a rather nice facility, we were getting like leaks through the ceiling, like like the ceiling was breaking open.
Phew, yeah, it is the rainiest day in Seattle in the past 10 years.
Yep. So I mean my work area is like I've got like a nice enclosed covered
Mhm,
porch area, which is great because I get to all the fresh air and I don't have to worry about ventilation or
mhm,
anything. And but I mean it rained so hard it like came through the slats in the
mhm,
covered porch, so just
yeah.
everything soaked.
Well, to get back to Christmas really quickly, do you know what this Christmas will be the anniversary of?
The birth of Jesus?
Well, no, and I know you don't truly believe that Jesus was born on December 25th exactly.
No, it would have been probably more like April or May, probably traditionally around the time where we celebrate Easter. But
Ironic. No, it will be the 22nd anniversary of me getting my first guitar. I got my first guitar on Christmas when I was 8.
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, best and most life-changing Christmas present ever.
Well, hopefully that's the case for my little one because they're getting
You told
a stringed
us.
instrument.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I did. I think last time I mentioned it on the show, I was thinking about it, and I did end up jumping for it, and I've already opened it up and inspected. You know,
nice.
just because
Just
that's what
played a little bit, be
just to
honest.
make sure that it survived the shipping process. Of course, no other reasons.
Mhm, mhm.
But I'm very excited. So they're getting a Seagull Merlin, and I cannot wait to see the look on their face.
Yeah, I'm same with my niece, man. She's 3 and I'm getting her first little guitar. So I hope that it lights up her world.
Well, I think that's an incredibly positive and affirming note to end the episode on.
I think so too.
Um,
And to all of you listening, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy whatever you celebrate. Um, we just want you to know that we appreciate you, and the gifts you've given us this year have been beyond what we ever could have imagined. So thank you so much. If you're inclined to leave us a review on iTunes, um, or subscribe on the YouTube channel, those are the easiest ways to support us. We also have a Patreon. We also sell merch. You can shop reverb.com through a link on our website, and we get a little kickback of 1%. So, yeah, that's kind of those are the ways to support us. And other than just listening to this podcast, which is also actually the top number one way to support us. So, thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're listening to this right now, you are our Christmas present, and I really sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it.
Likewise. Well, until next time, I'm Emily.
And I
All right,
am
ready?
Andrew.
Goodbye.
1, 2, 3.
Bye.